our spinaches. Yeah, you use it as a steal. I'm going to make a sort of stir fry with stuff that I have left over in the fridge and some of the greens that I got from the garden yesterday. These are cilantro black beans that I made myself from dried beans. If you want to see how I made this batch, I'll link the video down below. Instead of buying canned beans, I make them myself and then I freeze them and then I have to thaw them. This is some kale and possibly some collard greens. I'm not quite sure. Either way, they're going to be washed, chopped up, and eaten. So this is starting to thaw. So let's take a look at the leaves that we have. So, beet leaf, This one doesn't have very much color to it, but it is still a beet leaf. If you look closely, you can see that there is some red sort of happening in there. A little bit. But you can see that the pattern is very similar. And here we've got some kale. I'm not sure if this is kale or a collard green, but anyway, it's fine. They're both edible. There's some kale. There's a lot of different varieties of kale, so they have lots of different shapes and colors. Notice the purple here? Kale also tends to resist water, so if you look, you see how the water is beading up on here? Kale will do that. It's sort of water resistant. Next one is spinach. So there were some other leaves in there and I'll show you the difference between them. So here we have spinach. Spinach will have a few different shapes. One of the things that's really characteristic of it is you see how it bubbles? There's sort of bubbles in the leaf. They're not really bubbles, but anyway, they get sort of, I don't know how else to call them except for say that it's sort of bubbly. Now there are round ones like this, but there's also sort of pointy ones, like triangular ones. Here's a good example of one. See how it sort of comes down at the bottom, two sides here? That's normal. Now let's take a look at one of the other ones that was in there. So let's look at the difference. This is sort of bubbly. This is quite flat. The other thing is to look, you can see the veins here quite clearly, and the vein pattern isn't really the same as the spinach leaf. So these are very straight, very clear lines, whereas this one, not exactly. They sort of branch out a lot. Let's see here. See how they're a little bit more erratic than these, which look quite clear. See the difference? I'm not quite sure what these are. I mean, they sort of look like dogwood leaves, but that makes no sense in a garden, so I'm not quite sure. And I'm not too worried about it. I'm just going to throw them out. I'm not going to eat them. So those are the three leaves that we have today. Spinach, beet greens, beet leaves, and the kale. This is just leftover rice I had in the fridge. Oh, I almost forgot the spinach. It's good. A bit more salt, I think. But yeah, would make again. The corn is perfect. Nice, good crunch. In terms of the radishes, I just take off the bottom, take off the top. I don't do anything fancy with them. I just eat them like that. They're very good. Sometimes they're really got a good bite to them. Ooh, it's a good one. I like spicy stuff, so that works for me, but ooh, be ready. For the mint, I'm just gonna rinse it off, then I'm gonna tie it up to dry. The mint is now washed, and I'm going to use just a regular cotton yarn, and I'm going to tie them up. I don't want to make them too thick, so I'll probably do 3 stalks. Yeah, that works out perfect because I have 6 stalks in total. I'll just put 3 together like this, and then I'll hang them to dry. I don't tie them tightly, I just do 1 knot. The friction from the moisture on the yarn will sort of keep it taut, and then as it dries, it'll just kind of stay secured. So for now, I just hung them above my sink. They'll drip down into the sink because I just finished washing them. But once they're done dripping and they're relatively dry, then I'll move them to a different location. Next, I think I'll make a soup. So in here I've got an onion and some garlic cloves. I'm going to add some water and then I'm going to blend it all up. I want it really fine because I don't want it to appear in the texture. So there we go. Cumin, regular oregano, cayenne pepper. So I thought I was recording, but I missed the first few bites. So I'll do a reenactment. This is pretty good. A bit messy, but it's always messy when you use some sort of green instead of like a tortilla. Actually, it's messy when you use a tortilla too, so. But this is always, tacos are always messy, so. So I'm not sure what kind of leaf this is, but it's good. I like it. The flavor is perfect for the tacos. It's nice and spicy. I used hot and spicy taco seasoning, so it's good. It's got a good kick to it. This turned out much better than I was expecting. I wasn't too sure how I was going to feel about, you know, excessive leaves in my soup, but this is good. This is really good. Pureeing the onions and garlic was a really good idea. It would have been weird to have little firm squares when the rest of it is leaves. So yeah, anyway, it's good. I like it. I would definitely make it again. Both of them.